Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachai Kodash, double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, which you go to be. Now, it's your brother Hawaya from GMS Chicago. Got a quick little lesson for you Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelites who bear the shame of looking like heathens, whose spirit bear witness that they're a child of the Heavenly Father. In the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, who the world English calls Jehovah God. In the name of the Heavenly Son is Yahweh Shai, who the world English calls Jesus Christ, or Jesus Christos, or Yeshua, Yeshaya, Yahweh. And pretty much this lesson is starting off with Second Esdras, according to the Apocrypha, the 15th chapter. And it's pretty much going into how, the Lord is going to start plaguing this place, which you see right now. You see it, the death toll increasing. You know what I'm saying? Every day you turn on the news and stuff, and somebody dies some type of way. They either died from like a Final Destination type death. You know what I'm saying? Or their body failed them. You know what I'm saying? Or they getting shot up. You know what I'm saying? Or something is falling on them from a building or some debris. Hey, the Lord said that He was gonna come and take these people out, man. And I want to start off with 2nd Esdras 15:1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy," because this is part of the prophecy that the Lord's going to bring mass death to this place, mass destruction. You know what I'm saying? Lately He been getting up on the women. Women been dying lately. You know what I'm saying? And it's all by His hands. It says, "Which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." We telling you that a part of the prophecy is that we on the highways and the byways, in season and out of season, meaning all manner of weather. Giving you the gospel. Gospel means good news. You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of people majority of our people, 2/3 of Israel and stuff, they're not going to consider this as good news. You know what I'm saying? They're going to consider it as a burden or something that they don't want to hear. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of prophecy too, that 2/3 of Israel will reject the word of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 2, it says, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true," which also proving that the Lord had chose Israelite men, you know what I'm saying, to write His words and in paper, man. You know what I'm saying? So for anybody that say that the Bible was written by man, yeah, you're right. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord chose which Israelite men to put His words in their mouths. You know what I'm saying? And also told them what to write down. You know what I'm saying? Because it was His words. Verse 3, it says, "Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them that trouble thee that speak against thee." And incredulity is the unfaithless, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they show through their deeds that they don't have faith. Because like it says in the book of James, the 2nd chapter, it says that I'll show you my faith by my works. And the Lord is about a just balance. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have faith and works. Because that's how you show your faith, by your works. Because what's the so like it says, verse 4, it says, "For all the unfruitful shall die in their unfruitfulness." And like it says in the book of John, the 3rd chapter, verse 19, it says, "This is the condemnation, that light is coming into the world," meaning this truth, the real understanding of the Bible, the sweet and the bitter. You know what I'm saying? That this is the condemnation, the judgment, that light is coming into the world, the truth, but men love darkness because their deeds were evil. You know what I'm saying? And for the fact that you do evil deeds and stuff shows that you lack faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. You know what I'm saying? It says, because verse 5, it says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." You know what I'm saying? And you seen the sword. Last night, somebody just got the crack shooting somebody down and stuff. And even earlier than that, the other day, you had the police flying up and down the streets and stuff. It says the sword meaning the gun. It says famine. There's a lot of countries out there and stuff like Venezuela. Hey, they going through Jacob's trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? Pretty soon it's going to be here in America. Americans ain't going to be able to live comfortably. You know what I'm saying? You finna see extreme poverty. You know what I'm saying? And part of that poverty and stuff is being without a job. Part of that poverty is not being able to get no work, or duping down to some shameful levels just so you can get some money. You know? Yeah, prostitution is gonna be on the rise. You know what I'm saying? You know, people gonna be stealing, killing to steal. You know, and down in Venezuela and stuff, the hyperinflation came, man. You know, where people was in line, 6, 7, 8 blocks, a mile long and stuff, going to the government looking for food, or going to grocery stores, and with the hyperinflation hitting them, they had a carton of eggs. One carton of eggs cost $120. And then it escalated even before then. Where I mean, it escalated afterwards, where they wouldn't just come in with a certain amount of money and stuff. They was weighing it, man. They was weighing it. They was just taking whatever money they had and putting in wheelbarrows and stuff, and hoping that it was heavy enough for it to be enough for them to buy food. You know, and then it escalated after that. Well, you had certain market men and stuff, or certain families and stuff. They go to the dump and look for scraps of food, man. You know, and then it's escalated even further on, where you had whole markets with big slabs of meat, but the slabs of meat would be rotten. You know what I'm saying? Flies hanging all over it and stuff because it's not in good case. You know, you got people going to the garbage dump, you know what I'm saying, looking for food to make soups or to fill their bellies, man. You know, grocery stores cleared, you know what I'm saying? No more trucks bringing food, you know what I'm saying, to their grocery stores. And all that's going to happen here, you know, and that's going to be that famine. You got certain trees out here that bear fruit and stuff, but what do Esau, Edom, so-called white man, does? He pretty much he takes that down, man. He cuts it down. You know, he cuts it down. You know, for decoration and stuff. He chained up the garbage cans and stuff. He causes any leftover food that's in the restaurants to be thrown away, and then they chain up the garbage cans so the homeless can't get in. You know what I'm saying? Just throwing away extra amount of food, man. Putting a certain blue substance upon it and stuff. So if they do get to the food, say they get past the chains and whatnot, able to stick their hand in there and whatnot, that that is they're unable to eat it. You know, and it shows you the cruelty of this Edomite, man, this devil. It says death, and you seeing that. Every time you wake up, turn on the news, somebody is dying. Whichever way it is, they dying. It says in destruction, and you seeing the destruction, man. Look at the structure. A while back, you had something that the wind was so strong that it blew a crane, Salakia, a crane, and the crane had failed, and it broke off, and it landed. It hit the building and different debris and stuff, and people was getting hit. You got these gigantic sinkholes and stuff where the ground just collapsed underneath people in their cribs and stuff, and the next thing you know, everything just get to sinking in and stuff and falling upon them. Even there was a video that the brothers had put up on the group a while back where it was a plane, and it didn't even get all the way into the air, and it pretty much did like a backflip, but it didn't land back on its wheels. And when the plane landed and stuff, it's like it wasn't high enough and stuff. When it landed, it just completely went in flames. And that's what you're gonna see, man. You're gonna see a lot of destruction out here, man. Like in the movie Bushwick. Don't be surprised you wake up and stuff, and you're in one of them high-rise buildings and stuff, and you can see flames and fires and smoke all over across the whole land, man. Because that's what's coming to this place. It says, verse 6, it says, "For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." You know what I'm saying? The sins of this place is reaching on to heaven, man. And the Lord is taking the hedge off, man. He's going to take the hedge off you 2/3 and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all are being put to death, but hey, some of y'all finna go through these calamities, man. And you have not served the Lord, even though you're entitled of being a servant of the Lord. Since you have not served the Lord, therefore the Lord is going to punish you, man. It says, therefore said the Lord, Yahweh, it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord is fed up. You know what I'm saying? Back in the book of Genesis, he said that he was let me get it. This is Genesis 6:5. It says and the Most High Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. It says, and it repented the Lord that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. You know what I'm saying? So hey, the Lord is fed up and he's angry, man. Hey, the wickedness is getting heavier and heavier, man. You know. Um, this is Second Esdras chapter 14, verse verse 16. It says, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So hey, they just legalized that marijuana and stuff for recreational use throughout the United States, right? Or within certain states or whatnot, you know. And what's this going to cause people to do is going to be like, oh, we can smoke whenever we want to. You know what I'm saying? Now they have more variety. It wouldn't be skimpy. It wouldn't be scarce. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like a kid in a candy store and stuff. It's going to cause and promote people to smoke more. You know what I'm saying? And people are already to the point where it's like they gotta smoke a cigarette when it comes down to their break at work. You know what I'm saying? They gotta smoke before they go into work. They gotta smoke afterwards. They gotta smoke on the way home. They gotta smoke on the way to work. They gotta do all these different things. So when the variety picks up, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be put in a situation where it's like you always have it. So then when it's taken away, you're gonna have to need it. You know what I'm saying? And what happens when people don't get to have that smoke or that edge? They get crazy. You know what I'm saying? Their sanity slowly falls away. And that's part of that evil, man. You know. It says back in 2nd Ezra 15:8, it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, which profane means outside the temple, meaning unholy, doing things that's unholy. Smoking is unholy. Why? Because it messes with your body. You know what I'm saying? It messes up, it closes up, it narrows to your blood vessels. You know what I'm saying? It also makes you anemic. You know what I'm saying? Even though the smoke doesn't feel to the touch, that is harmful and stuff, but it deteriorates your soft tissues within your esophagus. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got certain people where they have to have a microphone just to hold it up to their neck just to speak, because they totally destroy their esophagus, man. It's burning the soft tissues because that's still heat. You know what I'm saying? And and it can cause your voice to change where you got that raspy voice, man. And it's not by birth. It's gonna just be real messed up that you sound that way. It also you can't go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's a stimulant to keep you calm and stuff, so it's not gonna have you tired. And then what people tend to do, they gotta have it. They do it in combinations. Like if it's just not the weed and stuff, you know what I'm saying, they gotta do it with a black and mild, or they gotta do it with some weed, or they gotta do it, or it causes you just to continue to smoke, man. To put you in a process or a pattern and stuff where you can't leave off. Makes your eyes yellow, your teeth yellow. You know what I'm saying? Your breath smell like shit. You know what I'm saying? It says neither will I suffer them in those things. It says in which they wickedly exercise themselves. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord is not suffering no more. You know what I'm saying? You got the people who's doing the e-cigarette and stuff, and they finding out that they getting some type of bacterial within their lungs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's causing them hardly to breathe, or having lung problems and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And what's the only reason why they doing that? Because if the e-cigarettes are bad and stuff, then you might as well, because they thinking about banning e-cigarettes, but it's like they're not going to ban regular cigarettes and stuff. And all it is to get the people who's on e-cigarettes to come back to cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? because e-cigarettes was damn near putting regular cigarettes out of business. So now they're on some, well, we gonna take the e-cigarettes away because it's causing this problem, causing that problem and stuff within the lungs, and it's gonna force the people who do use e-cigarettes to go back to cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? And as much as those people smoke and stuff, when it comes down to the e-cigarettes and stuff, guess how many packs they're gonna go through? You know what I'm saying? Guess how much more they're gonna increase in that lung infection or or those lung problems that the doctors have been seeing, within the X-rays and whatnot. Um, It says, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. And even homosexuals, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you lesbians, you homosexuals and stuff. Guess what's going on? You know what I'm saying? You all are building up in a lot of diseases. It's a lot of shit. But yeah, even when it comes down to you homosexuals and stuff, you all are building up in a lot of diseases and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're prone to more diseases and stuff because you're doing the wrong thing. That's wickedness as well. You know, you know, women are finding themselves with different infections and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? From bumping pussies and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Men are catching herpes and genital warts and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they mixing and mingling with the same sex, man. You know, and they're sodomites. And when it come down to it, a sodomite is somebody who engages in anal sex. So even if you ain't a homosexual, but you still dealing with your woman and you blasting her in her ass, you ain't supposed to be doing that. Because that makes you a sodomite. And the Lord said in Deuteronomy the 25th chapter, or the 23rd chapter, that there should not be a sodomite amongst the sons of Israel, man. So even if you ain't gay, you still ain't supposed to be popping your woman in her ass. And the Lord is pretty much giving out the judgments, man. You know, it says, "Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." You know what I'm saying? And these are the ones that the Lord is going to save. The ones who's tired of seeing the different abominations. You know what I'm saying? You wake up every morning, somebody asking you, "Do you sell loose squares?" You know what I'm saying? Somebody asking you for some money and stuff when they eligible. You know what I'm saying? To go get them a job. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 seeing it, trying to see the lowest state of the nation of Israel, you know what I'm saying, and how they would love to continue in this lower state, you know what I'm saying, who don't want to build up, who don't want to come up, who don't want to come back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you know what I'm saying, who don't want to do anything, man, want to continue to stay in the pride of life, knowing that it's going to bring destruction, because like the scripture says, it says pride goeth before destruction, man, you know what I'm saying, and we see the destruction, you know, for the fact that our people love this place, you know what I'm saying, that curse is heavily upon them. Even though the curse is still upon the nation of Israel and they changing over to the heathens, the thing is that these curses are not going to be uplifted until Yahweh Shai come back in the second coming and save us on the first go round. And the only ones that's going to get saved out of 144,000, which consists of 12,000 men in each of the 12 tribes of Israel, the government body, and the 1/3 would consist of men, women, and children who are Israelites who believe no matter how they look. Them the only ones that's gonna get saved. Why? Because they're seeking for righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Verse 9, 2 Esdras 15:9, it says, "And therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood for among them." This is Zechariah. Because not only is the heathens trying to seek death for the nation of Israel, our own people are seeking death for their own people, man. Especially the men of the Lord that come up against the kingdom that they love so much, which is not even their kingdom. It's just a consolation because you love to dwell in wickedness. This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. It says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem." You know what I'm saying? So even when it come down to you two-thirds, when it come down to the heathens and they coming up against you, the Lord will still fight for you because the nation of Israel is the apple of the Lord's eye. You know what I'm saying? You know? But hey, it's gonna be you Jakes that's also gonna come against the elect. You know what I'm saying? You know, once Esau brands us as terrorists, brands us as being this, that, and the third, or putting bounty on our heads, because a lot of you all's ruler is money. You know, so once they start putting bounties on their heads and saying that we this, that, and the third and stuff, and setting us up, you know what I'm saying, to look like this and look like that, you fall for the okie doke. Guess what? You're gonna come against your own people, just like how it was done back with the wicked Pharisees and Sadducees, how they convinced the people to come against Yahweh Shai with no proof, you know, with no proof. You know what I'm saying? And what they were seeking for him, and it's in Mark the 15th chapter. They were seeking for him to be crucified. The word crucified goes back to the word cross. You know what I'm saying? And what's with a cross? Cross out, man. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to cross him out. You know, and a lot of our people want the men of the Lord crossed out as well. That's why some of us is going to be martyrs, and and part of that death is not just going to be by the heathens. It's going to also be by our own people. You know. It says, "Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." You know what I'm saying? And what can only do that? Fire. That's the only element that can do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, and back in that Genesis, the Lord said that because the covenant is the rainbow, which Esau had profaned as well. You know what I'm saying? To make it a badge of the homos. You know what I'm saying? But the covenant is the rainbow is actually a covenant where the Lord had used as a sign, you know what I'm saying, to Abraham, that he'll no longer destroy the people by water. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? It ain't finna be another flood. You know what I'm saying? But the only flood that's finna come is the lake of fire. You know what I'm saying? When the Lord destroys this place with thermonuclear warheads, man. You know, and all those that came against the men of the Lord, they, guess what? Like it says in Luke. Grab this right quick. This is Luke chapter 10, verse 16. It says, "He that heareth you heareth me, and he that despiseth you despiseth me, and he that despiseth me despiseth him that sent me." So the Lord had brought us up according to Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Lord will do nothing but reveal his secrets unto the prophets. You know what I'm saying? And our job is, once we receive these secrets, how we supposed to live, what's beneficial for our lives and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that we supposed to tell the other ones that was unknown, just like how we once were. You know what I'm saying? You know, which is the rest of Israel. You know what I'm saying? We understand that two-thirds is not going to want to come back. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes down to the elect, you know what I'm saying, then the ones we actually fishing for, because once they're sealed, you know, all these things is going to come down and stuff, and then the Lord's going to come back and save us. You know, I read again, Luke 10 and 16. It says, "It's he that heareth you heareth me." You know what I'm saying? So since we're the messengers, if you hear us, you know what I'm saying, then guess what? You hear Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? Because what we're coming with the volume of the book, which is written of me, which is Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shai is the word, like it says in John 1 and 1. It says, it says, "And he that despiseth you despiseth me." When you go into that word despise, it's the word thetio. It says to do away with, to set aside, disregard. It says to thwart the efficacy or efficacy of anything, nullify, make void, frustrate, to reject, to refuse, to slight. You know what I'm saying? So if you despise us and we bringing out the word, then that means you despise Yahweh Shai. You know, and if you despise Yahweh Shai, it says, and it says, "And he that despiseth you despiseth me." Because like it says in Isaiah 58:1, it says, cry loud, spare not, lift up their voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgressions and Jacob their sins. Talking about you Negroes, Latinos, and natives. You know what I'm saying? And you Israelites who can receive this word, who bear shame of looking like heathens. You know what I'm saying? You know? If you despise what we're saying, then that means you despise Yahweh Shai, you despise the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And you can see that in Psalms 40 and 7. it says, and he that despiseth me despiseth him that sent me. Because what Yahweh Shai said, he said that he do the will of his father. You know what I'm saying? He was following the law, statute, commandments. He was perfect. You know what I'm saying? When he walked the earth, you know what I'm saying? And he was doing it. He was doing the Lord's will, which is to tell the people. You know what I'm saying? Because like he said in the book of Matthew, he said that I come not to destroy men's lives, but to save it. You know what I'm saying? But for the ones that reject this word, you know what I'm saying, their lives are not going to be saved. You know, and the only ones that's gonna reject the word and stuff is gonna be 2/3. You know, you know. Going back to Second Ezra 15, verse verse 9, it says, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. You know what I'm saying? Just like how Cain had slew Abel and stuff, but the Lord had got back at Cain. The Lord, because Cain used to be dark skinned. He used to have melanin and stuff, and the Lord took that away. You know what I'm saying? Made him easily noticeable. Made him an enemy of the sun. You know what I'm saying? Uh, 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 Made him want to eat raw flesh in the reincarnation of Esau. You know what I'm saying? Bloody meat. Made him an animal. You know what I'm saying? Made 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 him pretty much a beast, man. You know. Hey, it's Edomites that's into that bestiality. You know what I'm saying? Kind of strange where you see them and be like the dogs. So they walk around, they just be so fascinated with the dogs and stuff, talking about they so cute. You know what I'm saying? They even look at them as if they're in the stature of being another human, man. You got a woman on YouTube, and she goes around talking about the benefits of having sex with a German Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? And she just don't see she don't see what's wrong with it. And hey, all I'm saying is that the Lord, he's gonna get back at the ones who do anything to the men of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because you do anything to the men of the Lord that's pushing out the message to save your ass, then more than likely you hate the Lord. I did a sit down a while back, and pretty much if the Lord came upon, if the Heavenly Father, the Most High Yahweh, put himself in human form and came down onto the earth, you all would try to kill him. The proof is when it come down to Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? His own people, the ones that knew better, the Pharisees and Sadducees, since they couldn't have that spot and that shine and the light and the glory, you know what I'm saying, they sought to kill him. You know what I'm saying? Jacob's the same way till today. Let a lot of women like you and stuff. It's gonna be a Jake that's gonna be ready to fuck that up for you, man. Say if you got decent money, or you making decent money, or you make a little bit extra and stuff, it's gonna be a Jake that's gonna want to mess it up, man, because they not getting the glory. you know you know So when it comes down to the men of the Lord, we gonna bring out this truth, you know what I'm saying? And majority of our people ain't gonna like it, and they gonna get tired of hearing it, or just hate your presence, you know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, they're gonna be trying to do whatever they can to towards you, and the Lord's gonna pay them back, you know what I'm saying? Verse 10, 2 Ezra 15 and 10, it says, "Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter." You know what I'm saying? And how is that? You all don't understand that, like it says in Micah 2 and 10, this is not our rest, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it will surely destroy you with a sword of destruction. You got people that's just it's like they know who the enemy is and stuff, but yet they just defeat it. They don't want to fight no more. They don't want to look for the best way for themselves no more. They just, if you can't beat them, join them. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much how they are. That's why they defeated. They got all this poison that's within the world and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got all this poison, poisonous air, poisonous water. You know what I'm saying? Poisonous food. You know what I'm saying? You got these churches and stuff, and what are they doing? All they doing is killing you spiritually. You know what I'm saying? They're not waking you up to the truth. They keeping you in a bind. You know what I'm saying? Because like with the word religion, which people like to follow Christianity, which Christianity is a religion. It goes back to the Latin word religio, which means to bind. But the scripture says that the truth shall set you free. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? They're not setting you free because they're telling you to look for prosperity in a time of punishment, man. You know what I'm saying? So y'all led to the slaughter, man. They're telling you that it's going to be peace, peace, and safety, but sudden destruction is going to come, like it says in First Thessalonians 5:1. They keeping you sleep. You all are. It's a bunch of traps that's set in front of you and stuff, and they're not letting you know what's in front of you. It says, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof. You know what I'm saying? So as before. So another place got to be considered as Egypt. You know what I'm saying? This is Revelations. This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. You know what I'm saying? This place, America, it's called Sodom. You know what I'm saying? It's considered Sodom, spiritually called Sodom, because all the rampant homosexuality here. You know what I'm saying? People that was homo and stuff, they was keeping on the down low, but once Obama had allowed to happen and stuff, you know what I'm saying? He passed the rights and whatnot. The law for homosexual to be legal, or homosexual marriages to be legal. You know what I'm saying? Everybody been coming out of the closet, man. And it says in Egypt. Why? Because Egypt goes back to the Hebrew word Matazarium, which means double straights, man. You know what I'm saying? Like a rock, a nail stuck in a hard place, man. You know what I'm saying? It also means bondage, man. You know what I'm saying? You bond here, man. It says where also our Lord was crucified, and how they crucified him. You know what I'm saying? They crossed him out. That's why they took the true color of the Lord and the Heavenly Father, you know what I'm saying, out of people's minds. That's why people be talking about why does it matter? Because it was changed. You know what I'm saying? That's why it matters. And that's part of the truth, to let you know that the Heavenly Father, you know what I'm saying, is it's a so-called black man, you know what I'm saying, with woolly hair. He looked like a Negro, you know what I'm saying, and that his heavenly son, Yahweh Shai, who the world inly calls Jesus Christ, didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes and white skin, or leprous skin and stuff. That he was a dark-skinned man with woolly hair, you know what I'm saying, who loved to drink his wine, So that's part of the truth. But that's how they crucify him. You got them old portraits where they show Adam and the Heavenly Father butt naked, with butt naked babies with wings and trumpets and arrows with hearts and shit. Flying around them, you know what I'm saying, with clouds covering up their private parts and stuff, you know what I'm saying, they touching fingers, you know what I'm saying, and they got leopard skin, man, you know what I'm saying, but hey, when you got melanin and stuff, you're a friend to the sun, you're like a Superman. Superman, he got his strength from the sun, and it's the same way when it comes down to people with melanin. We get our strength from the sun. We would get energy from the sun. We get vitamin D from the sun. You know what I'm saying? If you remember the old project from the science fair or whatnot, when you get the black paper absorbs light. You know what I'm saying? When you get the white paper, the light bounces off bounces off the white paper. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, with us having melanin and stuff, we absorb the energy of the sun, which actually benefits us. You know what I'm saying? And if you have leprosy, the sun bounces off you and stuff, and what do that reduces? What that causes? Sunburn. That's why they gotta get certain chemicals and put it on their face and their arms and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they won't get burned by the sun. So hey, that's how you know that it was so that's how you know that that how they crucify him stuff by changing his color, which is called iconoclasm. Putting your image upon Yahweh Shai. I mean, putting your image upon another. When that's not the true image. And just to back that up, this is uh, this is Job. It's like for being all over the place. But this is Job chapter 9, verse 24. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covers the faces of the judges. Who the judges? Yahweh Shai, the Heavenly Father. How they do that with the iconoclasm, putting their images upon the Heavenly Father, which are not true. You know what I'm saying? Or even the prophets. You know what I'm saying? Every biblical movie that you buy from the movies, a blockbuster, if they still got them. You know what I'm saying? Or a red box. Every time it come down to a biblical movie, the characters that's supposed to be considered the Israelites and stuff, they're always white. They always Caucasian and stuff. But that's not what the scripture says. The scriptures don't say that they're Caucasian. You know what I'm saying? Now we understand there's going to be Israelites who's going to bear the shame of looking like heathens, but when it come down to those like the book of Moses and whatnot, and Samuel and Samson and whatnot, and Yahweh Shai himself, they're dark skinned, and that's part of that them crucifying him. This is well, back in a second. Where it was it says this is back in Second Esdras 15 and 11. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Lord is doing. You got all these different these farmers when it comes down to the farmland and stuff. Hey, the food is not growing as fast, and they got to meet certain productions and stuff. You know what I'm saying? In certain time frames, so they can ship food into these grocery stores. And if things ain't on time and stuff, or it ain't early enough and it's not edible or it's not in the right state to be eat, that means that it's going to be a shortage in these grocery stores. And you also got all these different truck companies and stuff. What's going on with them? They're shutting down. You got a lot of businesses that's closing a lot of their stores worldwide, man. First got Toys R Us, and they closed. They trying to bring it back and stuff, but it's only going to be for a little while. You got GameStop closing 200 stores, permanently. You got so hey, it ain't finna be no food, it ain't finna be no transportation and stuff, So hey, these grocery stores finna be dry, in that movie The Knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like towards the end, what were people doing? They was robbing that gas station. They was breaking everything up. You know what I'm saying? And they was just taking whatever they could. People was stealing the cars. It was all calamity. And then within the background, you could see the city, how parts of the city, like the like you'll see the city and you'll see the buildings and stuff, and everything will be the buildings will look all dark and whatnot. A couple of lights on and whatnot, but then you'll see smoke and you'll see fire in certain places and stuff, and to show that it was like great calamity behind it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was already nightfall. Behind it, you saw just nothing but that orange, that white to like yellowish to orange to like dark orange to dark red color in the background, showing that it was much more fires in the background. Much more destruction, man. And you finna see this place happen. You finna see this happen to this place. The pestilences. You see, it's nothing but rats down there in downtown, man. You know what I'm saying? They own the place. You got the mice that live in the subways and by the train tracks underneath the tracks, man. You know what I'm saying? You got different bugs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of water bugs that's been coming come to pass. And, you got a high level of dragonflies when you go into that downtown park that's over there by Roosevelt, man. A little skate park is just like a large number of dragonflies. You know. Verse 13, it says, "They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation." You know what I'm saying? Hey, the food is going to be a gigantic food shortage, man. You know, it says verse 14. It says, woe to even when it comes down to the farmers. You have certain little situations where they had like mass of grain or mass of certain types of foods and stuff that would be within a massive containers and stuff, and then next they see a leakage and their food get contaminated, and now they can't use that food, and that food was scheduled to be shipped. You know what I'm saying? But now it's a backdraw. You know, it says verse 14, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Why is that? Because that word "woe" means destruction. And when you read First John, the second chapter, verse 15, it says, "Love not the world, for the love of the Father is not in the world." You know what I'm saying? Because all this, the way of the world and stuff, the love of this world is the lust of the flesh. Is based off the things that's contrary to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That people delight in and love in, man. Verse 15, it says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh." It says, "And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand." And that's what's gonna happen. Everybody's gonna be in a situation of survival. You know, worried about their lives. Hoping that they're gonna still be saved. Hoping that they'll see the next day, man. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 66. It says, "And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life." You know what I'm saying? So, hey, people that have been living gloriously and stuff, that's why you've been seeing a lot of robberies and stuff happening when it come down to these Caucasians. Because you all put yourselves in the limelight of looking like you got everything. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you do. So guess what? Of course, people gonna start stealing from one of their own. You know what I'm saying? People don't really care about their families like they used to and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So they steal from one another anyways. The griminess is already there. It's just gonna increase. But they gonna start sliding in the areas where y'all at, man. They gonna be looking for food, man. People gonna be having their double barrel shotguns, sawed-off shotguns and stuff. They pistols, they automatic techs and whatnot. The customized weaponry and stuff that Esau, even the government, has put in the that has put in the in the neighborhoods and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be using all that and stuff just so they can get something to provide for their family. Because that's gonna be part of that famine. People don't have no reason to steal if they got it already. But it's finna come to a point that it's not gonna be convenient to be able to go to the store. Somebody see you got some money and they don't got no money and stuff. Guess what? They're gonna be looking to try to rob you or even kill you. You know what I'm saying? It says in Deuteronomy 28 and 66, it says, "And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life." And when you go into that word assurance, it's the Hebrew word aman, it's the ad aman anah. It says to support, confirm, be faithful. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is gonna be part of Jacob's trouble, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be people that's gonna be seeking the regular J. Joe Smo. You know what I'm saying? To see if he got something. People that you've been shorting down and smoking weed with and whatnot. When stuff gets scarce for them, they're gonna be like, hey, you can help out. You might be helping out just a little bit and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then when you start getting scarce and they still coming to you and it's like we can't do anything, they gonna be looking at you like you trying to be on some dirty stuff with them. And then guess what? They're going to be like, you know what? All right, I'm going to come back. You know what I'm saying? And when they come back, they're going to come back with a sword. They're going to come back with the guns. You know what I'm saying? They're going to rob you, man. It says,
It says verse 67. It says, "In the morning thou shalt say, would the Most High it were even, and even thou shalt say, would the Most High it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see." You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's what's gonna happen, man. You know, hey, it's gonna be women that's gonna be get ravished. It's gonna be men that's gonna get ravished. You got gangs out in New York and stuff that prowl upon men and stuff just so they can smash. You know, you got a gang called Sweet Bloods, where they wanna where they look around for men and stuff just to smash. Take by force. You know, hey, they gonna be letting open these prisons as well, and they show you that in the movie Batman, The Dark Knight, I believe. You know what I'm saying? The one with Bane. You know, they let all them prisoners out with the guns, and you still got prisoners and stuff who got that mentality where they go after who are pretty much booty warriors, man. You know, uh, 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 yeah, women they don't got no other clothes on and stuff for stuff that reveal their bodies and stuff. You know, and the law in the land is gonna be lawless. You know what I'm saying? The police ain't gonna be serving to protect for everybody down the line. They in a situation where they hoping to get paid for the overtime, man. You know, they working too many hours with less pay. You know, and then what happens when a government can't pay them no more? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of niggas and a lot of bitches that's and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I'm meaning in a mentality. You know what I'm saying? You know, and in a hood like sense. If they not getting paid, they not finna work. You know, and once that happens and stuff, and they're not no longer trying to serve and protect because they're not getting paid for it. What's gonna happen? It might still be a couple of them that still it's like, you know what, I'm still gonna try to help the people, but when it start getting real chaotic, them police officers, what are they gonna do? They're gonna serve and protect their own families. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's gonna pretty much be chaos mode, like our San Andreas Grand Theft Auto. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's gonna be able to do whatever they want to. You got people that's getting ran over, people getting ran over. You know what I'm saying? You look to your left and your right and stuff, and you got this calamity and that calamity, and something in front of you is another calamity and stuff. Behind you is nothing but calamity and stuff. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures talk about spirits of vengeance, man. These dogs, when they don't have no food and stuff, guess what? They get antsy. You know what I'm saying? You know that wild mentality comes back. You know what I'm saying? They looking to dominate. You can't feed them, they gonna be looking for something to eat. And dogs can eat raw meat. You know what I'm saying? You know, they will eat raw meat. You know, any type of dog it is, they'll eat raw meat, man. You know, and what's gonna happen is that if you can't feed them and stuff, you know, they gonna try to dominate over you. You know, and you know, it's lucky for rambling so much. You know, but hey, this is gonna be one of them scary sights, man. You know, somebody screaming at the top of their lungs, and you got babies that's crying, and you hear glass breaking and shattering and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And clothes ripping and stuff, and hearing somebody getting beat and whatnot. And then next, you know, it comes to a quick silence, man. You know, hey, when it come down to babies, hey, if a baby get to crying and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't it take a process or a long time to get the baby to calm down once it get what it want? But if a baby gets silenced right then and there, knowing that it don't know, you know, have his wits to stop crying, because somebody told the baby to shut up, and it gets silenced real quick, then that means that baby got put to death, man. You know, you know. This is Second Esdras 15 and 15 again. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand." This is Second Esdras chapter 6, verse 24. It says, "At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein." Because you don't know who to trust. You know what I'm saying? You might come across somebody, they might want to eat you, because guess what? Cannibalism is finna come. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, people gonna be losing their sanity. You saw in the movie The Road, where you had those group of Edomites, and they just looking for supplies, looking in cars, and seeing if they gonna come across a couple of people and stuff. But they had a house where they had certain people that was in their cellar, and they was chopping them piece by piece, man. You know what I'm saying? They was diseased and all and stuff, and they was just taking their time for whatever seasons they had, and they was cooking them. You know what I'm saying? And preserving them like meat. And then you had the lesser sanity, the lesser sanity of people where they coming at you like straight animals, man. You know, like in the movie I Am Legend. You know what I'm saying? Those people represent cannibals. You know what I'm saying? And what were they doing when he got the deer that came into the hole where the dog had ran in there? You saw the deer being eaten alive by the little cannibal monster, man. And it's gonna come to that. People gonna be so hungry, so thirsty and stuff. You know what I'm saying, that they're not gonna even have the wits to prepare or prep food or boil some water or something like that. They just gonna come after you like a beast, like a lion. You know what I'm saying? It says it says, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. You know what I'm saying? Because people's water system where you have the water that comes up into everybody's houses within the Providence and all across the world and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's controlled by electric grid by the dams. You know what I'm saying? So once they hit this place with an EMP, and they show you that in different movies and stuff, like Fifth Wave and whatnot. You had Department of Human Services putting out an article where people needed to prepare themselves to be stable within a 6-month blackout, man. You know what I'm saying? And more than likely it's going to be longer than that. This is going to be a little test run that Esau does. You know what I'm saying? It's like mice in a maze looking for cheese. That's pretty much what they doing. And what's going to happen is that people are going to lose it. Like in the movie Book of Eli, where he went into that building and saw the dude hang himself. Suicidal rates are going to build as well. But what he do, he was trying to go for the water, and the water didn't work. Once they cut that electric grid off and stuff, ain't finna be no water that's going to be pumping in your crib. You know what I'm saying? More than likely what people going to do, they're going to go to their water tank that's down in the basement and stuff and try to pry it open so they can get some water. And then you got to think about how you gonna deal with how you gonna deal with the water when it come down to bathing in it, cooking with it, and drinking it. And then when that's out and stuff, what you gonna do then? If you don't have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshai, he's not gonna protect you. If you're not doing the things that he told you to do, if you're not coming back to the law, statute, commandments and stuff, if you continue to forsake your ways, you know what I'm saying, then guess what? You're not gonna have no protection. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be another public example, because the Lord's going to bring back public executions in a big way, and you seeing it all over the news, man. Pretty soon, hey, once the news don't work and stuff, you're going to be looking outside your window. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be seeing people getting put to death. Or ravished, or even ravished, man. Because like in that in the movie Book of Eli, when them biker gang came over and stuff, what did they do? They killed the husband. They did whatever they wanted to do with the woman. You know what I'm saying? All that's happening. Why you think these apocalyptic movies are so big nowadays? That's because they telling you what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's based off the Bible. Because it's all prophecy. Back in 2nd Ezra 15:15, it says, verse 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another." People ain't finna care. This is Matthew 24:12. It says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." People ain't finna care for anybody. They show you off Murray. Bill come to him, he still come on. You know what I'm saying? All these still Steve Wilkos and stuff. And they be explaining this like, this is your mother, this is your father, this is your brother, this is your sister, this is your cousin, this is your blood. You know what I'm saying? And what do them people do? They be like, so? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? People look at people within their families as just a regular another person, you know what I'm saying? Like a next door neighbor or somebody or some stranger, you know? And it's just gonna get colder and colder. You know, the scriptures talk about the betrayal between the families, how the mother will be against the son, how the daughter against the father, you know what I'm saying? You know? And they show you that in that movie X-Men, the second one, when they had fled from the mansion, you know, because Esau you know, came in, destroying everything, looking for all the mutants and stuff. You know, when you had Wolverine, Iceman, Rogue, I think that was her name, Rogue, Pyro. Yeah, I think it was just them four. When they had fled, they went back to Bobby's house, which is Iceman's house, and what uh he showed them that he had the powers and whatnot, and they was scared of him, you know. And then what his little brother do? He went upstairs and called the police, you know. And that's what's gonna happen. You probably got somebody that's in your family that's a man of the Lord, or believe in the scriptures, or following the way of the scriptures and whatnot, and you recognize that. So when Esau is putting bounties on people's heads, or whoever living a certain type of way and whatnot, to bring them in, or to sell them out and stuff. Hey, a lot of y'all gonna do that, and that's gonna be part of that betrayal that's within the scriptures. You know, you know, because in order to live deliciously and stuff, yeah, you gonna have to be down with this new world order, which is the RFID chip, which is radio frequency identification. You know what I'm saying? And also underneath the name NFC, which is near field communications, which uses our RFID technology. You know what I'm saying? Which is about the size of a grain of rice, man. You know, they're gonna want you to sell people out just so you can live. You know, this is back in Second Ezra 15 and 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another." It says, "They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and in the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And a clean example of that is what's going on in Hong Kong. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you had the police come out with military shields and rifles and whatnot, and tear gas and whatnot, and people all out in the streets and stuff throwing rocks and Molotov cocktails and stuff. You know, combating against the police and stuff. That's what you're gonna see here in America, man. You know, you know. It says, you know, people are gonna be fed up with the military, with the police. They're gonna be fed up with the ones are the mayors, you know what I'm saying, the secretaries, the superintendents. They're gonna be infuriated with them and stuff. You know, they're gonna be tired of going through these different hardships and getting messed over. You know what I'm saying, and actions in their power. So people are gonna get mad. You know, they're gonna get riled up, and what's gonna happen? They're gonna come against the government. You know. Verse 17, it says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." You know, you ain't gonna be able to. Why? Because it's gonna be martial law. They're gonna cut it off. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to the trains and stuff, you know, people use that so they can travel from one place to another. They're gonna cut off these metros. They're gonna cut off these CTAs. They're gonna cut off these Amtraks, where you won't be able to go anywhere. They're gonna quarantine areas, and you see a little bit of that where you have these bogus police stops, man. Police blockades and stuff. You know. All it is preparation, man. You know. You know, so people are gonna be trying to sneak out of the city and stuff to go here and go there and whatnot. You know, it says verse 18. It says for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. You know what I'm saying? And what pride do? Pride causes you to be in a careless mind frame. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna think everything all good. You know what I'm saying? And then what they show you in every single apocalyptic movie, it just be a regular day, and the next you know it's just a bunch of trouble that just come out of nowhere. And in the movie Fifth Wave, when they hit that EMP, you had You had people phones was going. It was people's phone couldn't come on. You know what I'm saying? And people will go crazy if they don't have their phone. You know what I'm saying? And then that people was the traffic light and stuff was just turning blank and whatnot, and people was just crashing into each other and stuff. You know, and then what you had was a black box. You know, it'd be a lot of planes in the sky. You know, the planes got what's called a black box. If that gets smacked with an EMP and stuff, that plane is coming down. You know what I'm saying? And what's that old saying? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. You know what I'm saying? You got a plane that's building up velocity while it's falling 30, 40,000 feet out of the sky, and you don't know where it's going to be. You don't know if it's going to be in the sea. You don't know if it's going to be in the city. You know what I'm saying? That thing probably trying to land and stuff, and they can't steer it no more. The gear can't come out. You know, the landing pads and the landing wheels are not coming out because everything's just dead. You know, can't even pry open the door and stuff because the wind from the force and stuff is pushing it closed, you know, and people dead, and whoever at the bottom and stuff, you know, they gonna be dead too, you know. It says for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, because people are gonna be flipping out, man, when shit hits the fan, you know, except for the men of the Lord. Because why? Because the Lord already gave us warning. You know what I'm saying? We took heed of the warning. You know what I'm saying? We was persuaded because we, like the scripture says, it says, the fear of the Lord, through the fear of the Lord, we also persuade men. But who's the first ones being persuaded? The ones that's being taught. You know, the ones that's who's teaching and stuff. Why? Because the Lord opened our eyes and put the eye salve upon us that these things are going to happen. You know, you got a lot of people out here that's on that seeing this believing. Well, guess what? The Lord allowed us to see spiritually, and then when it came across physically and stuff, we totally believe that these things are finna happen, man. But for the ones that thinking that everything is not gonna happen, it's not happening fast enough for them to believe it. Hey, when it does happen and stuff, you're gonna be out of luck. You know, you're gonna be like the scripture says in Ezekiel 33 and 33, it says, "Then shall they know that a prophet has been among them." You know what I'm saying? Then that's when people gonna want to take things serious, but it's gonna be too late. You know, this is Jeremiah. Just to bring this up, this is Jeremiah chapter 15, starting at verse 2. It says, "And it shall come to pass if they it says that's a good combination too. The right way. All right, so like this is Jeremiah 15 and 1. It says it's 144. It says, "And it shall come to pass if they say unto thee, whither shall we go forth?" So guess what? People are gonna. The scripture says that the people are going to be going to and fro throughout the earth looking for the men of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're gonna, they're gonna be coming to the spots where we usually teach and stuff, and they ain't gonna find us. We ain't gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because as you can see, Esau's the prophecy of the famine of word is ushering in. You know what I'm saying? You know, people are having problems with their videos. You know what I'm saying? They coming up with different restrictions and stuff in order for you to post or do a live stream and whatnot. You know, so guess what's gonna happen? After a while, the men of the Lord ain't gonna be on the streets preaching, especially now in martial law. You know what I'm saying? You know, you had a police officer, a white shirt. He come out of nowhere and stuff, and you had Jehovah Witnesses right across from us. You know what I'm saying? Not even right across the street, it's just right across. And what ended up happening? He was talking about that you can't have no signs on the ground and stuff. You know what I'm saying, right? So we pick up the signs. And then next thing you know, he started complaining about the main board and stuff. And he was like, "We gonna set it down." He was like, "Set it down how?" It's like, what else, motherfucker? Like we were gonna put it up on the wall and stuff, and he's saying we can't do that now. While he complaining and tripping and stuff, he walked past the Jehovah Witnesses, and it's like you can't have no signs and stuff. And it's like they got signs, they got this, that, and third. And I know they was mad in the mug. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, why you had to say something? Woo, woo. But the thing is that they had a sign, but for the fact that he passed that up and came to us, it shows that it's coming to the point that the famine of word is coming, man. You know, where you ain't gonna be able to hear it. You know, when you ain't gonna be able to walk past and see the men of the Lord and inquire. You know, where you ain't gonna be able to get on the internet and watch videos. You know, you know. It says, and it shall come to pass if they say unto thee, whether shall we go forth? Because they're gonna be looking for the truth. You know. It says, then thou shalt tell them, thus saith Yahweh, such as are for death to death, and such as for sword to sword, and such as are for the famine to famine, and such as are for the captivity to the captivity. Because what you have is you got a red list, blue list, and a yellow list. The red list are the ones that they're gonna already ordained to be killed on sight. You know what I'm saying? Or they're gonna detain them in these concentration camps, these FEMA camps that's all across the United States. You know what I'm saying? And kill them there. You got the blue list where the blue lists are pretty much the people who they're gonna bring in and use MK Ultra. You know what I'm saying? Because when they usher this new world order and stuff, you're gonna have to be down for it. You know. And what they'll do is they'll detain you, put you in these in a FEMA camp. You know what I'm saying? And try to re-educate you. You know what I'm saying? They showed you that off The Simpsons. You know, they how the children was re-educated and stuff. You know, I think Maggie was the only one who went down. She I guess she was considered a prophet in that specific episode. You know. And then the yellow list are pretty much it's like, well, if you want to if you still want to be comfortable and stuff, you know what I'm saying, it's like, hey, you're gonna have to take this chip, you know. And that's gonna be the hour of temptation, man, when this whole world is gonna be presented with taking the mark of the beast. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 3, it says, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. And these are the spirits of vengeance, man. You know, teeth of wild beasts, man. You know, scorpions, you know, these flash floods and whatnot. What do? They bring animals that live in swamps and whatnot to places of the cities, man. You know. You got wild boa constrictors and anacondas, you know what I'm saying? You know, that will swallow up a human. You know, pythons and whatnot, vipers, poisonous snakes and stuff. And they being washed up into areas that's outside of their habitation and closer to the cities. Those going to be spirits of vengeance, you know. Alligators being swept into other areas. You had, they showed on the news how an alligator had climbed the fence, you know what I'm saying? Alligator, like good some feet, you know, climbed the military fence into the Air Force, man. You know, spirit of vengeance. You know, you got another thing where the police had I forget in what town and stuff, but you had the police. They was helping out a couple of grizzly bears. You know what I'm saying? The thing about grizzly bears is that you ain't climbing up no tree. They'll climb up the tree after you. You know what I'm saying? A grizzly bear will eat you while you alive. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a lion where they go for the jugular and how you bleed out to death after they pawed you a couple of times and stuff. You know, swung you around. You know, how you bleed to death and then eat you. Bears eat you while you alive. You know what I'm saying? You know, they like it extra fresh. And you got these in the towns, man. Why? Because they looking for food. They got trapped in a dumpster because they was looking for food. Esau is destroying their habitations and stuff where it's causing the food that they prey upon to fly into the city. So guess what? They're going to track it down and come into these cities and look for new meat, man. You know? You know? Actually, I'm gonna grab that. This is Sirach chapter 39, verse 28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. It said, in the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. It says fire and hail. Hey, it's been fires that the fire department, no matter how many airplanes they come in with the water and stuff, they can't quench these fires, man. You know, Yeah, I think it was Madagascar or the rainforest and stuff that get caught on fire. And what trees does is that they produce oxygen for us. And I think it was either Madagascar or the rainforest where it was said that that forest alone can provide oxygen for the entire world, man. And for that to be gone up in the flames and stuff, that means that pollution levels are going to be higher. You know what I'm saying? You know, because everything is, you know, is you get Esau is able to make cars that run on air and water and stuff, but yet since he can, since those things are not taxable, I mean, or he can't make money off it and stuff, he used the gas and the oil instead, and that pollutes the air. So it's gonna be real messed up out here, man. You know, it says in hell, it says in hey, the hell's been the size of golf balls. They show you that in that movie Day After Tomorrow and stuff, cracking windshields and stuff, you know. It says in famine, you know, the food shortages and stuff. It says in death. All these were created for vengeance. It says teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents. And oh yeah, those Komodo dragons, them things can run fast. So if you trying to get away, you know, they shoot off, and alligators do the same thing as well. It says it says it says it says in the sword punishing the wicked to destruction, because in the book of Revelations 12:12, it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. You know what I'm saying? So Esau, Edom and stuff, hey, you got these UN, you got these people videotaping abandoned or sealed up areas and stuff, or warehouses and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, with high fence with barbed wire around it, and you see UN on these trucks, and they armored vehicles. You know, you had down in Venezuela a while back, they had a rally, and I think it's probably like a peace rally or something, you know, for the things that was happening and whatnot. And you had the UN trucks, they white with black letter on it and stuff. They got gates on the windows and stuff. You got they got generators. So they got generators and stuff so they can keep things going. So that shows that it's going to be an EMP, you know, electric magnetic pulse, which takes out anything within its range that's electronic, you know. So they're gonna have these generators and stuff so they can keep moving and keep going and have all the power and whatnot. And within that valley, you had these small little plastic blockades and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that would, you know, bring in the common sense of a person. It's like you got to walk around it, you know. And what they doing, they was driving at full speed and stuff, hitting little bumps in the road and stuff, and they just crashed into the rally and the blockades, man. And what ended up happening, you had this little girl, you know what I'm saying, people trying to run out the way and move out the way at the last minute, seeing how these people weren't finna slow down. You had this girl who was missing a big chunk of her head and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You saw the blood on the concrete of the wall that she hit, man. You know, people was getting trampled down and drove over purposely by the military, man. You know, and this is this great wrath that they finna bring upon this place. That's why you got Project Megiddo. That's why you got Rex 84 and the King Alpha plan. You know what I'm saying? That's to go against people to come against that's coming against their new world order. You know. The scripture says in the book of Second Esdras, the 16th chapter, that they should be like madmen, sparing none, man. You know. And what happens with a madman? You know, blood is not gonna it's not gonna cause him to cease. You know what I'm saying? And Ezekiel 35:5, it says that they have a perpetual hatred against Israel, man. You know. So guess what? They yearn to do this. That's why you got a lot of Edomites that's within the force. Why? Because they get to shoot off, they get to kill. They don't care if they on camera. All they care about is shooting a Jake, man. You know. Yeah, you got people that you had that little Edomite boy that came in the church and shot over 13 people and stuff, but yet they over here taking like 5, 6, 7, 8 police officers to choke a man to death who's selling cigarettes, man. That's perpetual hatred, man. These people don't like you, man. You know. You got the one woman where she was really blocking the house where Jake lived. Man, it's talking about you can't come in here, you don't live here. He got keys and everything and stuff, and he had to push out the motherfucking way. You got the Edomite calling the police because you got some Jakes doing a barbecue in the park, which is not illegal, man. You know, hey, it shows that they got hatred against us, man. You know, and you people love these Edomites, man. When they clearly show you that they don't love you, you know, So they finna come down with great wrath, man. It says, this is back in that second Esdras 15. 16. It says 16 and 18. I know, second Esdras 15 and 18. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You know, even in swole men, the scripture says that the men shall be like women in that day. And what happens when women get around some trouble or a bunch of killing and stuff? They get to screaming at the top of their lungs, don't know what to do. You know, running around like chickens with their heads cut off, man. You know, it's saying the men gonna be like that. And the scripture also says that the mighty men, shall be afraid, man. You know, they gonna be scared. These guys that's just swole and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Been in the gym for years. Who don't have the Lord, they gonna be scared, man. They gonna be scared out of their mind, man. People gonna be looking at them. You got all this muscle. You shouldn't be scared at all and stuff. But they gonna be scared. They gonna be frightened. It says, verse 19. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. It says, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, meaning the lack of food, and for great tribulation, because that is going to be a great trouble, man. Not having no food. You know what I'm saying? People, what he's saying in the movie Book of Eli, he said, because she asked a girl from that 70s show, she asked what was her name? She asked Denzel. She was like, what was it like before the bang? You know what I'm saying? And he was saying people had more than what their hearts could wish, and to be brought low where ain't no food. You had old girl from the Bahamas, no, was it the Bahamas? Yeah, the Bahamas, where that what Tornado Dorian was and stuff. You know what I'm saying? She was saying that there's nothing out there, nothing. Is no food, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? They on an island where there ain't no food. So guess what's gonna happen? If somebody sees somebody with an orange and whatnot, guess what? They prowling, man. They prowling. They're not gonna be, oh, maybe I'll find me something. No food is right in their face. So guess what? They're gonna come after you to get that food, man. They going through Jacob's trouble, man. Everything's destroyed down there, man. It's just a wasteland of debris, man. And that's what's gonna happen to this place, man. Probably ain't gonna be no tornadoes or no flash floods or nothing like that and stuff. But it ain't finna be nothing in these stores. People aren't gonna be robbing. Man, you've been in rotation with this man since the first time y'all both smoked weed and stuff, and now he got a gun to your face telling you to give me everything that you got. He know your family, babysit your kids. Both wives know each other. They be having girl time, going out to the club, whatever, committing adultery, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Being hoes. And you had your homie, your homeboy and stuff that you knew since kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? He got a gun in your face talking about how he been wanting to smash your wife. You know what I'm saying? How he can't stand your kids. And he taking all your food from you, man. And that's what's coming, man. Jacob's trouble, man. This is we'll wrap it up soon. This is Luke chapter 21, starting at verse 20. It says, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. And like it says in Ecclesiastes 1:9, it says it's nothing new under the sun. the what was done shall be done. You know what I'm saying? You know. Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. It says, meaning that it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It happened one time. You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen again. It says, and that which is done is that which shall be done. You know, that's a future tense. It says, and there is no new thing underneath the sun. You know, so hey, this is what's going to happen. You know, back in the time of the Roman persecution and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Hey, guess what? Them same Romans, them same Edomites and stuff are them same spirits that's gonna show their wrath in Jacob's trouble, man. You know, when they put up martial law, because this was martial law at this time, in the time of 70 A.D. Verse 21, it says, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. You know what I'm saying? So people are going to be trying to flee from this trouble. You know what I'm saying? But if you got them already compassing the land and stuff and cutting things off when you can't travel and stuff, a lot of people won't be on foot. You know, it says a lot of people gonna be on foot, and they show you that in a lot of those video games and stuff where they get the camper back and stuff. They got probably a gun, couple of bullets and stuff. They probably got a couple of people with them. You know what I'm saying? Especially in them zombie type video games. You know, them people on foot traveling. You know, and it says you know, hoping to come across a car that got some gasoline so they don't have to be walking the whole way. And they show you that in the movie. The game The Last of Us. It says verse 22. It says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. You know, and this is what needs to happen, because you got Jacob's trouble that's happening all across the world, in certain places in the United States as well. You know what I'm saying? But all places need to be underneath on that Jacob's trouble and stuff in order for prophecy to be fulfilled. Verse 23, it says, but woe unto them that are with child. It says, and to them, child, toddler, you know what I'm saying, little kids, you know what I'm saying, you know, 10-year-olds or whatnot, you know, 10, 12, still in grammar school, you know. It says, and to them that give suck, talking about babies that still, you know, on the milk, still sucking milk from the breast. It says, in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon his people. You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to be looking to kill. They show you that in the movie Bushwick. You know, because in the movie Bushwick, what ended up happening is that they the military had got an order where they was going to seize people's guns. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't think for them to retaliate, which is stupid. And you already know that it was already planned for onslaught, for the military to slaughter all those people. Because if you have in your constitution that you have the right to bear arms, what makes you think that if people paid money to paid for ammunition and all that stuff and a gun and whatnot, to protect their households and whatnot, or just use it for a scare to scare somebody off? What makes you think that they was going to give up those guns, man? You know, they're not going to give up those guns. So it was already it was privily sought to do a cleaning within the neighborhoods, man. You know. What they showed, one of the scenes that the people went to the churches and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? These churches are going to be traps. You know, but people are going to run to those churches. And what's going to happen? They're going to have the military come through. And what they did in the movie, they sprayed everybody that was at the door, man. You know, just to grab this right quick. This is, I think I said it already. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. It says, but other times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You know what I'm saying? So when a woman be having them labor pains and stuff, them things be coming out of nowhere, right? So that's how this trouble's gonna be, man. It's just gonna be a regular day, and then it's just gonna be all hell, shit hitting the fan, man. You know, you're gonna hear explosions and car crashes and horns and people screaming and whatnot. You know, that's what you're gonna hear. Blood everywhere, people splattered and stuff all over the ground, ran over. People ain't breathing no more. You know, People robbing the ambulance and fire trucks and whatnot, and just having a time in their life. People out here like the Purge, just out here killing for fun because they can. You know. You know. It says. It says back in Luke 21:23, it says, "But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people." So Esau is going to be coming down with great wrath. They got all these different new guns and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that they want to use on you people, man. You know, it says, verse 24, it says, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword." What's the modern day sword? A gun. You know what I'm saying? It's a piercing instrument. It says, "And shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled." You know what I'm saying? So guess what? Back in that persecution, which was martial law and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Guess what's going to happen? It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. It happened throughout history, all throughout our lives, man. You know, our previous lives, because reincarnation is true in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? You know, where you live again. You know, but it's gonna be horrible out here, man. You know. Verse 25, it says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of the nations, which perplexity, and it says the sea and the waves roaring." You know what I'm saying? So these gonna be physical signs that the Lord is gonna show. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have moons that turn red. You know what I'm saying? That's why you have moons that's orange and big super moons and whatnot. They show you that in a lot of movies, especially a lot of Disney movies and stuff. When it come down to prophecy, like when it came down to the movie Hercules and stuff, the cartoon and stuff, the planets had to line up a certain type of way, and that was a sign that chaos was going to happen. Because then you had those titans. You had the titan of ice, the titan of wind, the titan of lava, fire, and whatnot, and then the titan of water. And what were they doing? They was destroying stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was a time of great calamity. You know what I'm saying? You know, and these different signs that the Lord shows is showing His coming. You know what I'm saying? But before His coming, all these tragic, all this big tragedy has to come to play first, man. You know. It says the sea and the waves roaring. You know what I'm saying? This is Second Esdras chapter 9 verse 1. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." So the Lord set up signs to let you know that these things was going to come to pass, that the end was coming. You know what I'm saying? You know, that these great sorrows and tribulations was going to come before the kingdom comes through, man. You know, before the second coming comes. It says, "And when and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which He made." You know what I'm saying? And what's also part of the signs, these people putting up these from children to old, you know, elderly people and stuff. They recording videos, you know what I'm saying, or you got a child, you had this Israelite Mexican woman, a Mexican child and stuff, and she just kept screaming in Spanish about how he's dark skinned and he's on his way back and he's about to destroy. You know, you had another woman crying because the thing about a prophetess is that well, the Lord said that He'll pour His Spirit upon all flesh. You know what I'm saying? He's giving you these visions that the Lord is giving these people visions. You know what I'm saying? Letting them know what's going to happen to this place. You know, that it's going to be great destruction. You know what I'm saying? You know, men of the Lord that be on the highways and byways, they have prophetic dreams as well, of martial law, of famine. You know what I'm saying? You know, of being in good case while everybody else is not. You know, being saved and from the thermonuclear fire. You know what I'm saying? You know, coming up out of this place and doing the right things according to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai and being saved on the first go round. You know what I'm saying? Or being in a FEMA camp and tortured and whatnot and not feeling no pain like the 7 Maccabees brothers. You know what I'm saying? You know, enduring to the end. You know, like Scripture says in the book of Sirach, it says, "Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee," man. You know, Hey, brothers have those dreams, man. And those things are gonna happen, man. It's gonna seem crazy and whatnot, just like the old homeless man and stuff who's prophesying the downfall and whatnot, and the people looking at him like a joke until it actually comes. Now everybody looking for him, but don't you always recognize that usually it'd be the homeless guy that had all the answers and stuff, and he ain't there no more. You know, hey, that's scriptural. Hey, the prudent man foresees the evil and hiding himself, man. You know. You know. So the Lord is showing you signs, and it also says in the Gospels, I believe in the book of Matthew or John, I think it's either Matthew or Luke, whichever one. It says that it's only the sign of Jonah shall be shown as a sign. You know what I'm saying, to this faithless, unbelieving generation, roughly paraphrasing. And what is that? The sign of Jonah. Jonah went over to Nineveh and stuff to forewarn the Israelites down in Nineveh the destruction that Nebuchadnezzar was going to come with. You know what I'm saying? That it was going to be a great slaughter that was going to come. You know what I'm saying? And Tobias got out of there. Tobias and Sarah and whatever other Israelites that more than likely had took heed and stuff got out that jam. But everybody else more than likely got destroyed. And brought into captivity and stuff, man. And that's the sign. The sign is that the men of the Lord, this gospel shall be preached to all four corners of earth. You know what I'm saying? You got a bunch of great millstone GMS camps that's all over the world. You know what I'm saying? You got other camps too, but GMS got the 100% truth. You got all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Prophesying the downfall of this place, and people are able to see it, man. That's one of the signs that we're in the end. So if you don't get right, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be a time that you wish that you did. This is verse 26, Luke 21 and 26. It says, men's hearts failing them for fear. What is that? A heart attack, cardiac arrest. You know what I'm saying? It says, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So it's going to be horrible out here, man. If it says in like Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, even though those are the curses and stuff that continue on until this day, a lot of that was during the Roman persecution, man. And that's what's finna happen to this place, man. It's finna be scary out here, man. For what you see on your video games and whatnot and stuff, that's gonna be real life. Walking the earth without eating for like 3 days to a week, and you lost like hella pounds. You know what I'm saying? And then you come across some food that the Lord provides for you and stuff, man. Because like it says in Isaiah 35 and 16, Isaiah 65 and 13, it says that my servant shall eat, but you shall be hungry. My servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. My servant shall be in joy, but you shall be in sorrow, man. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because 2/3 of Israel, hey, your job is to serve the Lord. But since you ain't serve the Lord gonna punish you. You know what I'm saying? Since you didn't want to do work when you was at the job and stuff, you ain't finna get no check. You ain't finna get paid because you ain't do no work. So only the men of the Lord are gonna be the ones who's gonna get paid in that time. And what's that paid? Having a hedge. You know what I'm saying? All right, just to tie it up, this is First Maccabees chapter 1. And then during these hard times and stuff, when Esau do this order out of chaos and stuff, there's gonna be a lot of jakes that's just gonna they're gonna take the chip. They're gonna take the chip willingly. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start off with First Maccabees 1 and 11. It says, in those days when there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we had much sorrow. Just like the Israelites when it came down to the Exodus, you know what I'm saying, which means exit. When they was complaining about the leeks and the melons and whatnot, and how they had it good when they was captives and being slaves in the time of Egypt, and when they was in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? When they was in the wilderness and stuff, and the Lord was trying them to see if they was going to have faith. it says it's gonna be the same way. You know, these people won't be willing to sell out. You know what I'm saying? You know, because guess what? When it comes down to RFID chip, that's gonna be the new currency. You know what I'm saying? Scripture says in Revelations 13 and 16, it says he calls for all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or into their foreheads, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, that you will not be able to buy or sell, man. And the thing is that when it comes down to buying and selling, that shows that it has to be a currency, you know. So when they come down with this new world order, you ain't gonna be able to buy anything with cash. You know what I'm saying? They don't care if you got a debit or credit card. You know what I'm saying? There's only one way to pay, you know, and you got to get that chip, which is the size of the grain of rice. You know what I'm saying? You know, uh, which is the RFID chip. You know, it says which they want to implement in your body. You know, because then they have totally control over you. You know, it says verse 12. It says, so this device pleased them well. It says, then certain of the people. Okay, so like it. First Maccabees 1:11 says, in those days when there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we had much sorrow. So there's going to be people that's going to convince you. Hey, don't be surprised when you got your Lil Waynes and your Drakes and your Chris Browns, you know what I'm saying, and your LeBron James, and you know, and your you know, these people that's held to a higher standard, that they know that majority of the people flock towards them or want to be like them. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's used as a role model and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised when they use them. You know what I'm saying? And be like, hey, the new way to pay. You know what I'm saying? You know, you see them in commercials and stuff, swiping their hand over stuff, and they in a commercial, they swiping their hand and stuff, and they paying for food. You know, they got videos where you had these Edomites where they got guns. They got guns where you can't shoot the gun. Nobody else can shoot the gun but you, because it's registered to the chip that's in your hand. You know what I'm saying? You know, that all your information will be on there, your ID, your medical records, you know what I'm saying, all these different things and stuff. You know, you don't have to, they're gonna hit you with the, oh, you don't have to worry about nobody robbing you and stuff, you know what I'm saying. And it's like, well, man, when it come down to technology and stuff, it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's computerized and stuff, so yeah, somebody gonna still be able to rob you, you know. You know, you can swipe your hand like a Jedi and stuff, and your door's open. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got a woman who had it set up where she just put a finger to, like, you know, a pinky to her mouth and a thumb to her ear, and it was like a phone, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, the scriptures talk about in Revelations how it's going to perform many miracles. People that wasn't able to walk, that's been handicapped for a long period of time and stuff, then, you know, they probably might give them bionic legs and stuff, and then they'll be able to, with that chip, they'll be able to move their limbs again. You know what I'm saying? You know, people who wasn't able to see will be able to see again. People who wasn't able to taste will be able to taste again. People who had all manner of different diseases and stuff can probably get cured from it again. You know what I'm saying? You know, or if you wasn't able to hear and you was deaf, you would be able to hear again. You know, they're gonna come. They're gonna work on the certain strong desires that people always wanted to have, that they lost before or had before and then lost it. You know what I'm saying? That they're gonna be able to come with the answer, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna be part of the persuasion. It's not just gonna be food and living comfortably and having a big screen TV in your crib. You know what I'm saying? It's also to be able to function. You know, it says verse 13. It says verse 12. It says, so this device pleased them well. It says, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. You know what I'm saying? You know, and the scripture says, thou shalt not make any cutters in thy flesh. You know, and what do people usually do when they get the RFID chip? They put it in a place that's frequent. You know what I'm saying? Convenient for them. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, they show you that in the movie Fifth Wave as well, when it came down to the little kids and stuff that they was trying to grab and put them in the military and whatnot. it showed that it made them think that they was going against monsters when really they was just going against regular people who was protecting themselves from the military, because the military was ushering in a operation to pretty much kill everybody, man. That's why you got these Georgia Guidestones. Anybody who don't take the RFID chip and whatnot, pretty much gonna have to be put to death or this thing, you know. It says verse 13, it says, then certain of the people were verse 14, it says, whereupon they built places of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen. So what Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is trying to bring, he's trying to bring a one world order. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think it's Nouvos something, you know, whatever. But that RFID chip is gonna be his restart, man. You know, I'm gonna scroll down some to verse 40. You know, it says verse 41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, you know, and that's what they trying to do. It says, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. It says, yea, many. So if you Muslim, if they want this one world order and stuff, if you Muslim, they don't want you Muslim no more. If you're a Buddhist, they don't want you to be a Buddhist. If you Christian, they don't want you to be a Christian. If you acknowledge you're an Israelite, they want you to denounce the Lord, pretty much, man. You know, that's what they want. It says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. So they got bound. You know what I'm saying? You know, the truth made them free, you know, but they wanted to be bound. It says, and sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath. It says, for the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land. So what's going to happen is that it's going to be commercialized some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? You know, these going to be the new laws, and if you fail to follow the laws and stuff, you know what I'm saying, you're either gonna get detained or killed, whatever. It says verse 45, it says, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, meaning high holy days and regular holy days. It says, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people. It says, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. It says that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, meaning outside of the temple, doing things of all manner that's unholy. It says, to the end that they might forget the law and change all their ordinances. It says, and to pretty much denounce the Lord. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Denouncing the Lord is not following Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And this is what they wanted them to do. And you have people that consented to that. You know, you're going to have 2/3 of Israel that's going to take that chip. You know what I'm saying? That's going to, you had a company called Three Square Market. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's in Wisconsin, you know, and pretty much they had a chipping party. In order for them employees to have access in and out of the building and also to get paid, they had to take that chip, you know. And you also had a company that was out there in Sweden, you know. So, hey, the mark of the beast is already here, you know what I'm saying? But we're just waiting for it. Part of the prophecy is that they're going to make it mandatory. You know what I'm saying? That's that he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. You know what I'm saying? A calls to have something done. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be an order out of chaos. And it's going to be like, hey, this is going to be the way for you to live comfortably again. And they show you that in that movie Elysium. You know, the ones that live comfortable and stuff were the ones that had the chip. And they was outside of poverty. They was living their life. You know what I'm saying? Those who didn't have it and stuff, they was on the ground looking for parts, trying to scrounge up some type of money that was pretty much starving to death, man, underneath martial law, man. You know, that came from the little city that was out in space. It also show you that in Demolition Man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that lived comfortably and stuff had the chip, and they was walking upon the earth and you know, being cool and stuff. And everybody who refused and whatnot, they was in the sewers and stuff, suffering poverty, man. You know, eating rat burgers and whatnot, man. You know, it says verse 52. It says, then many of the people, read verse 51 again. Verse 51, it says, First Maccabees in the Apocrypha 50, verse 151, chapter 1, verses 51. It says, in the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over, Verse 48, it says that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. It says to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. It says, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. It says, in the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. You know, so they're going to be searching out. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're going to cut everything off. You know, where it's only one decision you're going to make. And it's only going to be two decisions. You either going to have faith in Yahweh Shai and believe that he going to bring you through the fire, which is this adversity and stuff, you know, or you going to denounce the Lord and make Esau your king. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you'll be doing. You know, you're putting his mark upon you. You know, the mark that you want is the Tawah, which is the Ta and the Wah, which means exempt from judgment. You know what I'm saying? To get saved on the first go round, to be part of the elect. You know, what are the 144,000 or the 1/3? You know, not the mark of the beast, which more than likely the 2/3 are gonna get. You know what I'm saying? It might be some 2/3 that won't get it, but the thing is that what's gonna happen is that they still gonna they have to get it because they're gonna worship the image, man. You know, and what's part of that image? This society, this beast. You know what I'm saying? The way this life is, how you can do all these things that's contrary to the scriptures. Since they love it and they worship it because that's the life they want to continue in, guess what? They're going to take that mark of the beast because that's the only way for them to be able to live their lives how they live presently, man. You know? It says in the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. It says, then many of the people were gathered unto them, that with everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. And people are committing evils in the land already and stuff. So when it's a time when it's scarce, you know what I'm saying? Because what they're going to do, they're going to try to put you in a situation where you're forced. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to back you in a corner where it's like, the only thing you could choose, you know what I'm saying, is either death or not living comfortably like everybody else, you know what I'm saying, or this chip. That's how they're gonna do it, you know. And when it comes down to the hour of temptation, you have to be it's got to be something that's enticing you to cause you to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? You know, anything forced against you and stuff. It's not what the scripture says or how it needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? You got to make the decision, you know, because it tells you that in James 1 verses 13 through 15, you know, in order for you to break the law, you got to make a decision that's going to cause you to break the law. You know, it's verse 52, it says, verse 53, it says, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for secure. You know what I'm saying? So people going to be on the run. The ones who know this word and stuff, we going to be on the run. You ain't going to be just sitting in your in your crib, like they show off the purge and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You know, people gonna be having access. You know, people are gonna be busting through the doors and whatnot. You know, looking for food, man. It's gonna be, you know, or looking for supplies, weaponry, whatnot. You know, it says in another movie that would probably be great is not a movie, but it's on Netflix. It's called Black Summer. Yeah. Hold on. It says it says it says it says in, it says now the 15th day of the month, verse 54. It says now the 15th day of the month, Casliel. It says in the 145th year they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side. It says, and burn incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. You know what I'm saying? So I forget. I think it's in California where they registered the Bible to be on the same listing as a assault rifle. You know what I'm saying? It just shows that anybody that's found with this, they're gonna try to do away with the scriptures, man. You know. It says verse 57. It says, and whosoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's gonna be a bounty, man. You know, that's gonna be part of the prove the man foreseeth the evil and hide himself. You know what I'm saying? You know, just like how when it came down to what's like it it says where was I? It says and whosoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, you know what I'm saying? So people that was following the law, statutes, commandments and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? It says the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. And the thing about the men of the Lord is that we had put our faces. We had put our faces out there and stuff. So we're gonna be prime targets, you know. And anybody who didn't like what we brought out, you know what I'm saying? You know, guess what? They're gonna be down for Esau. You're gonna have a lot of those Samuel L. Jacksons in the movie of Django that's gonna be men and women, you know, that's gonna love to see us, you know, in desolation, man, or see us killed or put to death, you know. And it says verse 58, it says, thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month to as many as were found in the city. So they're going to be doing diligent search to be looking for the men of the Lord. You're going to have your Rahabs and stuff, people who believe, who are the men of the Lord and stuff, who's going to hide them. Even Obadiah, it's just different Obadiah and stuff. He had 71 prophets, man, in a cave. You know, it's gonna be people out there that's gonna who know the men of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why Yahweh Shai has said to the 12 apostles, don't take like two coats. You know what I'm saying? And just one person. You know what I'm saying? He was saying don't do that. Why? Because the people who believe, they was gonna make sure you was good. You know what I'm saying? Like Apostle Paul said, he said, roughly paraphrasing, for the giving, from us you have reached spiritual things. Shall we not reap your carnal things? You know what I'm saying? You know, the men of the Lord are going to be protected. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be believers. You know what I'm saying? Who still know how to, you know, woo to woo. It's gonna be believers who are like secret disciples. You know what I'm saying? You know, who kept it in secret. You know, doing the works of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and whatnot, and they'll be able to move in and out, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't be surprised if you're a man of the Lord and you're gonna have to be like stuck in somebody's crib for like a long period of time before it's time for you to move again. You know what I'm saying? You know, because they gonna recognize us, like in the movie Minority Report. When you had Tom Cruise and stuff, he couldn't get away. He couldn't get away. He had to get like eyes of another. He had to get certain different body parts and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And whatever tracker they had in him, he had to take it out and whatnot, just so he can be underneath the grid. You know, they gonna post our faces like they did in the movie Transformers: The Extinction, man. You know, if you see Autobot and stuff, you know you were supposed to let the police know, man. But there's gonna be some that still believers who know that the men of the Lord ain't doing anything but read the Bible and stuff. And when they put all these different labels upon the men of the Lord, those believers who believe in the truth, who was converted, who's more than likely going to be part of the elect, you know what I'm saying? What are they going to do? They're going to make sure that the men of the Lord are going to be good in them days, man. You know. That's your Isaiah 4:1. When these women going to be coming, saying that can I be called by thy name? You know what I'm saying? Meaning to take on your last name, which is through sex. You know what I'm saying? That's why these you're gonna have certain men who have wives already and children and whatnot, and they're gonna be wanting to be around that you're gonna have to guide and stuff, because they know that the Lord is with you. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna want their hedge as well. You know what I'm saying? Who don't want to be around somebody that they know is gonna be protected? You know. Scripture also says, and I think Isaiah the 32nd chapter, about how a man shall be a hedge or a refuge for a woman. You know what I'm saying? You know, a protection from the tempest. And what's going to be that storm? All these different calamities out there. And how much more a man of the Lord? Because what's going to happen? He's going to have a hedge of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua around him. You know what I'm saying? He going to be good. Like in the movie World War Z. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much everybody that was sick, the zombies ain't come after. You know, just saying, like they gonna be protected. To carry on, it says verse 59. It says verse 58. It says, "Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month to as many as were found in the cities." It says, "Now the 20th day of the month they did sacrifice unto the idol altar, which was upon the altar of the Most High, in which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised." You know what I'm saying? So, hey, all you women out there that who you say believe and that you know you're a woman of the Most High and stuff, they gonna come after you as well. You know, they gonna come after you as well. Verse 61. It says, "And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them," because the commandment was that they wasn't supposed to follow the law, statutes, commandments. These was women that kept the law, statutes, commandments. And the prime example was of a woman who pretty much girded up her womanishly loins. I don't know if that's a word, but her womanly loins. You know what I'm saying? Was the 7 Maccabees brothers' mother, man. You know, and she took death like a champ. There's verse 61. It says, "And they hanged the infants about their necks and rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them." You know, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 50. It says a nation. It says Deuteronomy 28:49. It says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. It says, a nation of fierce conscience which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. And that's going to be these Edomites, man. You know, they're not finna care. If you ain't following what they their new world order and stuff, you know what I'm saying? If your children ain't chipped, if your son ain't chipped, your daughter ain't chipped, your niece ain't chipped, this, that, and the third, whoever ain't chipped and stuff is gonna be considered a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? They already considering people who live off the grid, who don't have to pay taxes, who got their own houses, they got their own land and stuff somewhere, who's not having to go to the grocery store, who's growing their own food, who's collecting their own water. You know what I'm saying? They already consider them terrorists, you know what I'm saying, because they're not being taxed like everybody else that live in the city. You know what I'm saying? So hey, if you ain't down for this order, guess what? Guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna kill you. You're gonna be labeled to be put to death. You know what I'm saying? And it says verse 62, First Maccabees 1, verse 62, it says, howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore the rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel. You know what I'm saying? So hey, for the ones that's when Elijah thought that he was the only prophet, and the Lord had told him that there are 7,000 men who not bow down their knee. You got the examples when it come down to Daniel and the three holy children, Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, how they was put in the furnace, and the Lord made it where their clothes didn't even smell like fire, and it smelled like soot or coal. You know what I'm saying? The only ones that got burned were the troops that was trying to take them to the furnace, man. But they still didn't get burned. They was literally sitting in the fire in a gigantic furnace and stuff, and they wasn't getting burnt up. You know what I'm saying? Daniel in the lion's den. You know what I'm saying? How they held back the lions from 2 days of feeding them just so they could be that much more hungry to quickly devour Daniel, and yet they didn't devour Daniel. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, the Lord had pretty much did instant transmission. They used the chariot to pick up Habakkuk, you know what I'm saying, who didn't even know what Babylon was, didn't know where to go to begin with to even come bring the food to Daniel, you know what I'm saying, and use the chariot to bring Daniel food. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you had Rahab, who had who we know that she was an Israelite because she had faith, and she was written of. You had Rahab, which was a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? She had saved. She had pretty much protected 2 Israelite men that were spies that was spying out the land, man. You know what I'm saying? From death, because they knew they was down there. Apostle Paul getting bitten by the serpent, but yet nothing happened to him. Hey, that's part of that spiritual hedge, man. To be indestructible. You know what I'm saying? All these different ways of deliverance that the Lord is gonna show forth His miracles, man. As long as you lean onto Him and trust in His word, man. It says if you do these things, you shall never fail. And what's part of that not failing, having that hedge, having Yahweh Hashem Yahshua help you, man. And then the scripture also says is that I'm gonna close out with this. This is Matthew's. This is Matthew's 10:40. It says, "He that receiveth you receiveth me." So the men of the Lord that's prophesying this word, you know what I'm saying? This helping you walk your own path into righteousness. It says, "And he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me." So hey, if you receive the men of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, and believe that they the men of the Lord, that they the prophets coming back, you know what I'm saying, because whatever you did in the past life, if you was a prophet back then, you're gonna be a prophet now. And like the scripture says in 1 Corinthians 14 and 32, it says, the spirit of a prophet is subject to a prophet. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, you for the men of the Lord that's on the highways and byways and whatnot, preaching out this word, giving you 100% truth. Hey, guess what? If you receive them, then that means you receive Yahweh Shai. Why? Because they preaching Yahweh Shai, which is the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? It says, and receiving him that sent me, is that's the heavenly Father. You know, so it's a chain. It's a chain. It's an order of things. You know, to get to have the good graces of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Verse 41, it says, he that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. Ain't we all looking to be saved? You know what I'm saying? You do good unto a prophet. You know what I'm saying? You know, the Lord gonna do good unto you. It says, and he that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward. You know what I'm saying? And what's the reward of a righteous? You know what I'm saying? Being saved, man. You know, it says, and whosoever shall give drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward. You know, so it's not just saying just give him a cold cup of water. That's doing a good deed. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's doing a good deed to a man of the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? I know I said I was gonna close out, but I need to get 2 scriptures. This is Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. It says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's on the elect. You know, the elect is going to be saved. And even though it says he, guess what? It's going to be women that's going to get saved as well. It's going to be children that's going to get saved as well. You know what I'm saying? You know, but not all Israel, only the elect. You know what I'm saying? You know, which you want to hope to be. You know, you want to you want the Lord to have compassion and mercy upon you. You know what I'm saying? It says, you know, you want to be one of the ones to get saved. Now this is definitely my last scripture. This is Daniel's for this sit down. This is Daniel's chapter 12, starting at verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. It says, and at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And that's the book of life. And that's the book that you want to be written in, because that means the Lord's going to save you. Some of us are going to die. We're going to be martyrs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Holding on to this truth unto death. But at the same time, hey, you're going to be risen up. You know, you're going to be risen up first. You're going to be in them chariots, man. You know? And don't be surprised, you know, speaking as a man, the time frame is different when you die. You know what I'm saying? You know? Because like the scripture says, it says 1,000 years to us is one day to the Lord. So as soon as you die, the next thing that you know is, like, if you part of the 144,000 and stuff, you either coming back down or you never even leaving the place. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be presented with that spiritual powers, or you're going to be on the earth. Men that have died in this truth, you know what I'm saying? You know, whether if it was like sickly ailments, or they got up in age and stuff, or they got put to death. Hey, guess what? You're going to see them on them chariots, you know? And that's what you want, you know? So, you know, I hope this video was edifying, and I like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we ought to be. Shalom and a Abba.